Yeah, maybe we'll do that. But first, I wanted to open up the room if anyone did have any questions, comments, requests. And I'm also wondering if I should talk. Yes, thank you. I'm also wondering if I should talk about the retreat, but maybe I'll. Okay. Well, first you, sir.
Last week, you talked about, and I don't have it exactly, but am I waiting for something to happen? Am I waiting for something to end? And can I be in the moment?
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm a beginner. A moment to me could be a millisecond. My question is, how do we combine those milliseconds into 10 minutes? And while we're in that meditation, are we to be completely blocking out everything to the point that we're present, but we're not thinking about anything? Is that the ultimate goal?
Okay, let me, great question, and there's a few in there, so let me pull a couple out for the folks on Zoom. And and then we'll go further. So the question is on the 3 questions that we talked about last week, which are very commonly taught in Burma, and some teachers really like them. I'm a fan. And the 3 questions are, and this could be a way of sitting where you kind of get settled, and you get comfy, and take a couple deep breaths. And what you can do is, when you bring your attention onto the body and breath, like just your normal everyday practice for 1 minute, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever, either as a kind of bell bringing you into mindfulness of the present moment, or as kind of a, I'm looking for that word, it's not therapeutic, diagnostic, almost as a diagnostic. If you're sitting and you can't settle and you're like chewing on something, or you're, mentally, and you're like, or you're like agitated and you're not sure exactly where you are or what's going on, you can use these 3 questions as a diagnostic. So the 3 questions are, am I waiting for something to happen? And this could just be as subtle as like, am I waiting to feel relaxed? Am I waiting to feel calm? Am I waiting to, something positive? And just see, what the answer comes to you. And then the second question is, am I waiting for something to stop happening? Which is usually around like, am I feeling agitated and I wish I wasn't? Am I feeling, what is this nervousness, or what is this anger, or what is this restlessness, boredom, whatever? And just see what the answer is that comes back. And then the third question, which is kind of the culmination of those 2, is, am I awake to what is happening now? So you said your question was, to you, a moment could be a millisecond, if I got that right. And how are you supposed to stitch those moments together into longer and longer periods? And are you supposed to just block everything out that's coming up, so that you're just like a completely dark forest citadel, or like a castle or a rock? Is that the practice? Okay. So I've got answers for that. Is there anyone in the room who is sat and wants to take a stab at that? What they heard that? Yes, sir.
You can block everything out for 10 minutes. You're a grandmaster.
Trevor says if you can block everything out for 10 minutes, then you're a grandmaster. Okay. That's Trevor's answer. Yes.
Oh, I also think so my husband's a beginner, and I tell him, I go, if you are constantly touching, you're awakening these senses that are trying to kind of put you in like a state of realm. You're constantly fidgeting or thinking too much about it. I also think like that's just kind of reinforcing and waking up those senses.
Okay.
Like just letting it happen, or you're trying to tell yourself, oh, am I going to get there? Am I going to get there? Well,
Okay.
You're just focusing on, am I going to get there?
Okay. I hope you don't mean you just got outed. But you're in a safe room here, so Okay, so yeah, that maybe following our restlessness and our nervous agitation, our fidgeting, might just be making more restlessness, and we won't actually get to the end of restlessness. We'll just be making more.
I think just meeting the feelings as they come up and kind of finding those feelings inside of you and figuring out, not trying to kind of focus on them, but noticing them coming up, like a feeling of love or stress, and then kind of focusing back on the breath or on sensations, like your legs on the chair and stuff like that, kind of helps me stay more in the current moment.
Okay. So Elizabeth says that maybe just paying attention to whatever is arising moment by moment is the way to go. Whether it's something we like or something we don't like. That's a banger of one, yes, sir?
Something relatively big films. It seems like for me, whenever and like I know this isn't like typical practice, but like I really feel like I achieve a deeper meditation. I'm able to like clear my mind more if I lay down. And I haven't done that. This is the first time I've done that since I've been here. But like I do feel like is it okay to do that? I mean, I know that there's like benefits to sitting up, but I just feel like my posture is so bad that like it constantly just it takes me somewhere else.
Okay, so what's your name, sir? Franz said he found that he laid down the first time. Not that you've probably laid down at home,
Yeah.
Right? So he's like he feels much more relaxed and clear and settled when he lays down. And is that okay? You guys, there's so much material here.
To answer your specific question,
Yes.
yes, no, it can be, and it depends.
Wow. Okay. Thank you. Yes, no, it can be, and it depends. Okay. They're stacking up.
Okay, one little thing.
Yeah.
I kind of, I mean, I do agree with what was said that spoke to me. With that, in meditation, I feel that when I'm not grasping or pushing away, oh my gosh, there's just kind of this quiet.
So it says that following Elizabeth's path of just meeting whatever presents, that she finds herself in a place where she's no longer clinging to things that she likes, positive emotions, positive sensations, mind states, and she's not pushing away ones that she doesn't like or doesn't think should be in her meditation. And she finds herself, almost by accident, in this quiet, joyous, open peace. So these are all outstanding questions and answers, and I want to go in reverse order, starting with you get an A for the week and for the day. She literally perfectly presented the most orthodox Buddhist meditation schema, which is it's our heart-mind clinging to or pushing away the objects of our experience, thought, memory, feeling, mood that causes more agitation. We think the feeling is the problem. To take a feeling, for example, my anger at my neighbor is the problem. No, me chewing on it and chewing on it and then hating that I'm chewing on it and now pushing it away, and now I'm in this like death match fight with my anger or whatever it is the problem. I'm just magnifying my resistance and the energy and the agitation and the activation, and it just becomes this spiral. And the same goes for clinging. We don't notice it because in our kind of habitual way of relating to the world, we like nice things. So a nice thing must be nice. So now I'm going to take this nice thing and I'm going to keep it for myself, and it's never going to change, and it's going to be exactly that way. We don't notice how activating and agitating that is. Not to mention the fact that it sets us up for a fall. This is the problem with any kind of joy or pleasure or happiness that is the product of causes and conditions temporarily arising in an uncertain, constantly changing universe. Enjoy it while you can, but don't hold on. Let go or be dragged. So, thank you. And of course, you can take that as your gold star for the day too, because that's how you present it. And the historical Buddha was absolutely adamant that anyone who tells you there's a right way to sit is full of stuff. He specifically said time and time again, sitting, walking, standing, and lying down, or however the body is composed, cultivate the mind of awakening and the heart of loving kindness. Those are his direct instructions. There is no way to sit that is better than any other way, aside from, oh, this is comfy and I can sit like this for a little while. This is good. And most of us, especially I would say men who grew up in the West, our hips are real tight and our IT bands are real tight because we grew up sitting like this with our knees together. So trying to sit on the floor, that would put me in the hospital. I can't sit. You got great posture. I can't sit like that. So that's why I kneel. So I wanted to mention, after, if you wanted to, we could try out a kneeling bench or a couple different cushions where you can keep your knees together and have a nice upright pelvis, which will help with your lower back. So yes, however it works for you.
What were the 5 you said?
The 5 are sitting, standing, walking, lying down, or however the body is positioned. So literally, it's the old man's kind of little, making a funny joke. Because you have to remember, 2,600 years ago, in India, yoga tantra was huge. Yogic practices were all the rage, and there was the right way to breathe with pranayama, and the right way to sit, and the yogis that the Buddha trained with in the forest were very strict about, the way the body is, and the right way to sit, and the right way to, channel the energies in the body. And the Buddha was like, great, awesome. However the body is composed, the mind of awakening and the heart of loving kindness is what we are working on here, not sitting in a specific way. And then, thank you, sir. And then regarding, restlessness isn't you. You aren't restlessness. Restlessness is just an energy in the body. It's an expression. Shocker. This may shock people in the room. We live in a terrifying age of technological advancement, political upheaval, war, famine, terror. I mean, life's hard. You might know this already. That sounds stressful. And this is the way, just to a greater or lesser extent, it's always been. Life is hard. I bet you have kids.
Just the one?
Yeah, and is it just the most blissful, effortless thing in the universe ever?
Yeah, he's in college, so.
Oh my God. Wow, may I someday follow in your footsteps. But yeah, believe it or not, there's going to be restlessness. And also a lot of us, the way we kind of habitually relate to stressors in our body become hardwired. So there are people who are very fidgety when they sit. If you're fidgety in your life, you're going to be 3 times as fidgety when you sit. So, but again, to parrot and the Buddha, noticing what's arising. You can work with these energies in the body. You can work with your feelings. You can work with your thoughts. How do you work with them? Notice them. That's the most important thing, to bring it all the way back to you, sir, that there is no preferred thought or feeling or sensation to be had in your practice. There is no stacking up shiny pennies to make a good meditation. A good meditation is completely empty of content. There's no content that makes a good meditation. Meditation is the container. Your awareness is the vast, open, infinitely hospitable container, which is what makes it so powerful. That's why meditation works. Meditation isn't a self-help program where we trick ourselves into thinking happy thoughts and be, feel good for a minute. You can get a bottle of wine or, a stiff drink or something else and feel good for a few minutes. A lot less effort. Meditation is practicing undoing the way we habitually collapse around, push away, cling to, tie ourselves up with, collapse into thoughts, feelings, sensations, moods, and practice, oh, my awareness is functionally infinite, and it always has been. And you can see it in your own life. You stub your toe becomes the biggest thing in the entire universe for a moment, for a second, and then it starts to shrink again. And that's the way we get activated and agitated and mobilized by intense feelings or sensations or thoughts. And it's made even worse when we go, I'm meditating, I'm not supposed to have that thought, feeling, or sensation. Our path is the opposite. Our path is the path of totality. We are here to cultivate. And I say cultivate, it's a little bit inside baseball, but let's say cultivate our awareness of, or our experience of, that vast, luminous, hospitable awareness that's always present. Is that helpful at all for the 3 questions?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And as far as the stacking shiny pennies, it is kind of like that in that we are habituated to our compulsive, habitual, addictive ways of relating to things. So the training is like, oh my God, I was relaxed. Oh. Oh my God, everything was, oh, okay. I was so relaxed just now, did you, oh. And you just, again and again, because you'll pop out, and maybe it's milliseconds. But in Tibet, the most common word that they use for meditation is gom, which usually means familiarization or habituation. We're getting familiar with that vast mind that we are, that we don't know that we are, because we've been doing this for 10 years, 20 years, 50 years, 100 years. We have to habituate ourselves to the open hand. We have to get used to it. So, 1 time a day, 10 times a day, 1,000 times a day, just catch yourself doing good. Catch yourself relaxing. Do it on purpose. Take a deep breath. Look at something beautiful. Smell your tea. Like the senses are, the senses are not a distraction. The objects of the senses and the objects of the heart and mind, thoughts and feelings, are not distractions. They are gateways because they're always happening now. So even rage, if you're sitting on a cushion and you become enraged thinking about the way someone has wronged you, that rage is a teacher. Do you feel your heart rate? Do you feel your pulse? Did you flush? Are you furious? It's all happening in the present moment. Whatever the wrong was is old news. But that feeling is a Buddha saying, wake up, this is happening now. So, thank you. That's a great dynamite questions and answers, guys. And I think we should probably sit unless somebody has anything.